Welcome back to the Gold Creek Extended Cut podcast, where we dive a little bit deeper into the weekend message. Today, really special guest, Dr. Heath Adamson.
Thank you, Reverend Nick. It's an honor to be with you.
What's your doctorate in?
It's from the University of London. It's a PhD.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's PhD.
Yep.
What was your topic?
Boy, that's a long one.
Okay.
It was, but it was related to leadership succession.
Oh, fascinating.
And psychographic variables. So basically, how people think.
Yep.
And the impact that has on how we pass the baton.
Man.
It was a really enjoyable experience. Loved it.
I love it. We probably know the same person, Jeremy from Springfield,
Yes.
who's now here in the Northwest. But his doctorate was, I remember him telling me about it, was about large church pastors and Enneagram types. Wow. I don't know if that's yours seems like a little bit of a deeper double click, but same idea.
I just loved it. Yeah, it really prepared me for what I'm doing right now at Convoy.
I love it.
It's good.
Very cool. Tell us a little bit about, so you work in an organization called Convoy of Hope. I don't know if everybody listening knows exactly what that is. We partner with them as a church.
Yeah.
Convoy is an amazing org. I don't know how you tell the story of Convoy in 2 minutes, but
yeah. I'll try my best.
Okay.
So about 31 years ago, Convoy of Hope started, but it really began when our president and CEO, our founder, Hal Donaldson, when he was a child, his parents were in a tragic car accident. It took the life of his father. It was a drunk driver. And so Hal grew up without having much. He struggled, but it was a family in his church who stepped up and really for about a year walked closely with Hal's mother and Hal and his siblings.
Okay.
And at a young age, he realized the power of kindness.
Yeah.
Fast forward, he's a journalist. He has a few college degrees. He's writing books, and his ghostwriting career takes him to Calcutta, India.
No way.
Where he interviews Mother Teresa.
Oh.
And in that conversation, she stopped and looked at him and said, "Hal, what are you doing to serve the poor?" And he responded honestly, "I'm really not doing much of anything." And she said, and I quote, "Anybody can do something." Went back home, took $300 out of his checking account. They distributed groceries to people in need.
Wow.
And that's kind of where it began.
Wow.
Fast forward, we've served more than 330 million people, distributed over $3 billion in resource to those in need.
Wow.
But it's really about the one person who's in front of you. So that's kind of what we do.
What is your assignment at Convoy?
So I'm accountable for what we do outside of the United States.
Okay.
And so we operate in 40 nations around the world. Wow. Again, we feed more than 639,000 children every day in our program. We have about 61,500 women and girls in our empowerment initiatives. We train farmers. We respond to disasters. We do a lot of other things, but it's just all about how do we serve those who are vulnerable and hurting in a way that introduces them to the kindness of Jesus.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's amazing. I mean, obviously, those stats, the scope of Convoy, even me being familiar, but especially for people listening, we can't even begin to absorb that scope, and that's profound. I'll just one of the things as you were sharing today here for our community, not everybody comes from a faith background or they come from different faiths, and I was really struck as you were speaking today at just kind of and this is maybe just stylistic for you, maybe you do this all the time, but I thought it was such an entry point to faith, even though I feel like what you were painting was a little bit more of the deeper end of the pool. Hey, we're going to participate and respond financially, but it seemed like an access point if you weren't faith affiliated to wade in. Yeah. Do you see that around the world too? I mean, that's a unique thing I feel like you have, is this advantage of what God's doing globally. Do you feel like the church's activity through Convoy ends up being an evangelistic tool?
Yeah, I would say absolutely. So, there's something, because we are all created in God's image, there's something on the inside of us that says it's natural to love the person in front of me. And there are a lot of people who may not even believe with certain theological or doctrinal beliefs about what the Gospels say about Jesus, but no one wakes up in the morning and says, I wish the world was less kind.
Yeah.
No one wakes up in the morning and says, I think we need to love one another a little bit less.
Yeah.
We're living at a time in history where Matthew 24 describes it this way: the love of most
Yeah.
or the love of many is growing cold. Love is a sign and a wonder. Love is a new idea. And so all over the world, I see how powerful it is when people just live the life that Jesus of Nazareth lived. You know, there are a lot of people, Pastor, who may not even believe what you would teach or what you believe, but no one argues with the value, the personhood, and the ethic of Jesus.
Right.
So absolutely, it's an entry point, but it's also something that regardless of how someone has walked with Jesus, we don't want to become too familiar with it. It's important that we live lives of compassion and introduce others to the God who cares.
Yeah. And obviously you work in, I don't know, does Convoy work? Do you work in any what we would call first world countries, I guess?
Yes, we would call them developing nations.
Okay.
And in most of the countries where we work, they would be called first world.
Okay.
Or, I'm sorry, let me back up.
Yeah.
They would be called third world or developing nations.
World.
But we also work in first world countries as well. We do a lot of work in the United States.
Okay.
We do a lot of work in places like Australia.
Yeah.
We just started doing some really innovative things in England.
Oh, cool.
People are in need regardless of where they live.
Yeah.
And so, at the end of the day, we just want to serve those who just need to know they're not alone.
What do you notice happening globally in the church? I mean, obviously that's such a broad statement, right? But like, are there things that seem homogenous right now in Western Europe, in Australia, in the United States? Although the states, you know, you kind of got the Tennessee to Florida to Texas quadrant. You know, obviously we got our own, but I don't know. Are there things you see globally as part of your work with Convoy that maybe are underreported?
Yeah, a few of those things. One would be, you know, it's somewhat popular right now, especially in the West, for people to deconstruct the church and kind of pick on, you know, the church, if you will.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair and to be honest, you know, not all churches are created equal.
Yeah.
Right? So there would be some, quote, churches who probably don't even demonstrate and live out and walk out what Jesus taught in the Gospels.
Yeah.
Right. But there are also many churches that are doing a lot of great work who accurately reflect or are congruent with the life and the message of Jesus. So one of the things I see is the church really is still God's idea to bring help and hope to people. No one, and research would prove what I'm about to say. The church still gives more. And I'm not just talking about finance. I'm talking about volunteering. I'm talking about caring. The church volunteers. You take the church out of the equation a few years ago when COVID shut the world down, a lot of people would have been in need. So the church steps up to the plate and volunteers. A few years ago, there was an earthquake at the border of Turkey and Syria.
Yeah.
It was the church who was doing the work on the ground.
Man.
When a hurricane hits, it's usually the church that sticks around and does mud outs and help people get back to a sense of normalcy. So around the world, I see that the church, God's idea, is still the best idea there is on planet Earth. But another thing I'm seeing is that a lot of churches are experiencing a lot of growth.
Yeah.
And a lot of people talk about the church maybe being at a standstill or declining.
Yeah.
Even in Europe, even in the United States,
Yeah.
I hear story after story of churches growing because people are resonating with who Jesus is.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I think God gets all the credit. I mean, just the way that God brings people, and I'm friends with a number of pastors in the region here. And we've always kind of joked like, hey, God didn't run out of ideas when he got to Portland and Seattle, you know, although it can feel like that at times. But anyway, just the way that I think especially young people, I got to qualify that now, probably 24 down. I think maybe you could say people that were pretty starkly affected by COVID and had maybe seen, and this isn't what I necessarily want to talk about, but had maybe seen all that progressivism had to offer and all that secularism had to offer and thought, no, there's this gap and this hunger for Jesus. And I think they're attracted to both the compassion side to Jesus, but then they're compelled by the theological reality as well. You know, they're compelled by this idea that, hey, there's presence available for me or these kinds of things. I don't know. Do you see that in the majority world too?
Yeah, I would say the gospel works no matter where you live.
Yeah.
And so the language I would use is the gospel is liquid, and it perfectly fills the container it's poured into. So for the single mom who maybe is working 2 jobs, who's struggling to even have enough lunch money so that her kids eat at school, God has a solution for her. To the wealthy woman who, owns her own Fortune 50 company, who's flying on a private plane around the world, and yet her world is falling apart. God has a solution for her. So the gospel perfectly fills whatever container it is placed in. And that includes Seattle.
Where it rains. Yeah. Thanks, man. This is so good, Heath. Thanks. Thank you for being here. I could talk all afternoon, but I mean, I feel like this alone. Anything else? Anything you wanted to share this morning you didn't get to share?
Oh boy, that's a great question. First, I want to honor you sincerely. I just want to thank you for your heart for people who are in need. Whether it's a pastor or a CEO or coach of a professional baseball team, anybody can have tunnel vision and just make it about himself or herself. The world is a big place, and it's full of people who just need to know they're not alone. So thank you for caring. Thank you for not reducing the gospel to Gold Creek Church alone. Thank you for remembering that, no, God is inviting you and your church community to be a part of what he's doing around the world. That includes this community. That includes the schools that you can walk to from here, but it's bigger than us. We're a part of this grand idea that God has, this idea called the church, this community of people who wake up each and every day. And it's more than just wanting to make the world a better place. It's wanting to literally become an answer to the prayer of Jesus in Matthew when he says, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So thank you for not just reducing the gospel to your church alone. Thank you for not just making it about you and what you want to do. Thank you for keeping Jesus and his heart at the center of what you're doing. And because of that, the poor, the suffering, the vulnerable, those Convoy of Hope gets to serve with Gold Creek Community Church together. Tomorrow is going to be better than today, just because your vision and your purpose are strong. And thanks for being real. Thanks for being authentic. And also, I'll just say, my family is with me here today. Thank you that the person you are off the stage is the same as who you are on the stage. Thank you for being a good leader, but more than that, for being a sincere leader. The world needs more people like you.
Thanks, Heath. I'll receive that.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. That's it. Thanks for checking us out this week. See ya.